Welcome to Meta Tripping, y'all. Peace and my apologies for all of the delays. This eclipse period has been a little challenging on this end. So the 3 videos that I did for the July monthly, it's so late now that I'm not sure if they're going to be posted. I may just be sticking to the weeklies moving forward and just doing the elemental zodiac overview. That is available. You can go to the zodiac elemental overview and see what the dimensional focuses are and kind of what the themes are that are coming up for the zodiac signs by element. And you can check the description box if you don't know of that video. It's on the channel. If you don't know what your zodiac sign is, what the element of your zodiac sign is. I think what most people do actually know. So it is Tuesday when I'm posting this. Yesterday was a 2D to 8D day for the collective. So yesterday there was just a good deal of what felt like up leveling and it was a follow synchronicity day. So tapping into spirit was certainly helpful. But there's a lot of clearing out going on. Today is an actual partial lunar eclipse. For the moon in Capricorn. The energies that are at work today on Tuesday are 4D to 5D. And the quantum self-care card that comes with it is your true path is bliss. That is also the focus for the week. Your true path is bliss. So this is when we're faced with very negative energies, heavy energies, confusions, with a lot of just these metabiological processes that take place with the Ascension. Tapping into your higher timelines and finding different ways and methods of tapping into your higher timelines can kind of help you to see that as heavy or as impacted as it might look right now. It's just we're passing through and clearing out. So some of the old themes and the old energies that come up, that's just what they are. They're on their way out. So try to keep your head up on that. Try to make as much progress as you can on whatever it is that you're working on for your higher timelines, whether you're working on projects, relocation, job switches, however it applies to you personally. So today the energies are in flux, the way that I am sensing them. For any who are experiencing any kind of like disorientation, I mean, there are what can come up as a feeling of, some degree of barriers, anything that comes up looking like it's a barrier to your freedom, anything that looks like it has set you back. You want to kind of remind yourself that you're passing through energies. This week there's a lot of review going on. That's one of the big things that I'm picking up for this week is like looking back at old choices, looking back at looking at where we are now, dealing with frustrations of how fast or how slow things are moving, avoiding conflict. Avoiding conflict is another thing that's coming up this week. Some people might find it difficult to not want to avoid in conflict on certain days, and I'll definitely give you the warnings as they come up. So Spirit is saying basically take a pace for today on Tuesday and kind of think through everything that you're doing before you do it. It's not a day to fall asleep on the job. It's not a day to take care of your responsibilities. If your mind is pulled towards other things that you want to be doing, take notes on that. Spirit is saying we're also sorting through a lot of old kind of stagnant energy. So working with Moonstone can help with some of the clearing work that will come up with that. I mean, we're talking about, when it's full moon, you have the culmination point of energies that started from the new moon. But you also have an opportunity for massive clearing of things that, kind of no longer belong. Spirit is saying you're gauging what you feel belongs and doesn't belong. And it's probably going to be a couple of weeks that this process is going to be underway. All right, so I'm going to pull a tarot card for Tuesday. I'm getting the vibe to only shuffle once. King of Cups reversed with the Queen of Coins, aka Pentacles reversed, and the Two of Cups. All right, so the energy that I'm picking up around the King of Cups reversed is like really the advice from Spirit. Like, don't fall into the water, so to speak. Don't fall into the water of your emotions. Keep some degree of whatever it is that helps you personal mastery wise to keep your emotions on track. Work with that today. There can be practicing gratitude can also help. Practicing gratitude for what you have. Because the Queen of Coins, aka Pentacles reverse, the vibration that's coming off of it is kind of like people not being happy with what they have or feeling like what they've been handed is not satisfactory. And we all know that, going into anything with that kind of perspective can only create more of receiving things that you do not want. This is an assessment time. It's really strongly and very simply coming through. Like, we're still assessing and reviewing while kind of chunks of old energy are coming up to be sorted. So you can be having those happy or unhappy blasts from the past moments where you don't like the vibrations of their energies that are coming up. The Two of Cups coming up with the energy that I'm picking up around this card is like connection with others. Healthy connection with others can help to kind of like remind you that everything's okay. So, you may have supportive people around you, kind of, whether it is communicated in that way or not, let you know, that you're okay. This is more of an energetic thing, the types of things that are coming up right now. There are changeovers happening. I feel them in the collective that have to do with this ascension process. I mean, there's been a lot of, movement with soul groups and that kind of thing. So there can be a lot of disorientation with that. There can be weirdness that comes up with people. There can be waking up in the morning and feeling a sense of disorientation about your placement because, I mean, let's face it, we're dealing with, a matrix/simulation situation, and I think it's just become more and more apparent as time has gone on, so it's not even that much of a head scratcher anymore. This is a day, the energy feels like we're being patient with yourself is the way to go. I think working with the color silver today is going to help to balance out any energies that are frantic and rising up out of a sense of panic, of not feeling grounded or like you feel completely at ease within yourself. And that is another, with the Queen of Coins reverse, that is another energetic pitfall that can take place, is not feeling at ease in your own body, not feeling at ease in your physical environment with your physical resources. So working on relaxing today, after you take care of whatever duties you need to take care of, is certainly going to help you get into more of a flow and trust with the universe. This is definitely a trust the universe sort of thing. There could be some experiences tonight, that are on, even though today is 4D to 5D, there could be some 7D level experiences where you may be dealing with recalibration, Spirit is saying, of the crown chakra. Usually when I channel the dimensional focuses, we only kind of focus on like how would I put it, like the baseline and what you're working through. But I mean, in reality, we're going through so many different metabiological changes. There can be little things that happen here and there. There can certainly be individualized dimensional focuses for your particular path that can come up. So, just be advised that, tonight, Spirit is saying, get some sleep, drink lots of water, write down your dreams. Spirit is saying tomorrow will be a little more clear mentally. Okay, derp. Okay, yeah, because it's 4D to 5D today. but tomorrow is 7D to 4D, so that's probably why it was coming up, that 7D energy was coming up. Later on tonight would be going into Wednesday, so that totally makes sense. See, anything else that I'm picking up for Tuesday? It's really, there's heart chakra clearing taking place. But in my experience, when you're going through metabiological changes and you have to deal with, you're trying to get one chakra cleared, if there are other chakras below it that need to be cleared, or pathways that need to be formed through the chakras for clearing, then you might feel some solar plexus activity. You definitely could feel an upsurge in that fiery energy that comes from the solar plexus activity. Any chakras below, as you're working on that, could go through some changes as you're adjusting to the change in the dimensional energies, especially with the eclipse, y'all. So today, just like remind yourself that you're working towards your higher timelines. The energy, there is positive higher timeline energy present, but I'm picking up like kind of a strong, well, maybe I shouldn't say strong, but like a resistance or an irritation with that. So definitely keep that in mind if you've fallen into that energetic wave, and work on kind of leveling out with your emotions, being aware of your emotions, and taking as much of a mastery path with them as possible. You don't want to let your emotions rule you today, or get caught up in delusion, or get caught up in old things that are just non-consequential. Like it's pointless to be irritated about something that nothing can be done about, something that happened a long time ago. So the way to work through that is to try to peacefully release it. And there you can check out the peaceful release affirmations in the Ascension Tools playlist, because that can definitely help to get your mind in a place where you can let go of those things that you don't need to be holding on to: relationships, people, places, things, tendencies, jobs, whatever applies. All right, so overall today, continue to remind yourself that your true path is bliss. Don't focus on what's not working. Focus on what is working. Kind of with that, I'm not saying religious faith, but that spiritual faith, just faith itself. That you've seen and felt and gone through all these different changes that we've been going through. This is happening. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you need to remind yourself of that and make peace with it, and make peace with whatever sense of unease that can come up and arise. And definitely do your best to watch out for conflict, because I do think some of the energies that can come up here don't have anything to do so much with the people you might engage in conflict in, or they can be backed up energies that where it's just there are better ways to handle it than full on emotionalism. You know what I'm saying? There are better ways to deal today. I would say this is definitely a day to, as much as you can, relax. Is there any other advice from Spirit for Tuesday? Okay, nope, Spirit is saying I covered it. All right, so we're going to move on to Wednesday's energies. Wednesday's energies, 7D to 4D. So it's like we're going up to 7D and bringing it back to that 4D lens that is being cleared out Tuesday. That heart chakra area of social ease, and how we project ourselves and how we shine our light, and whether we feel comfortable shining our light, whether we were rejected in our youth when we were attempting to shine our light, and we have to sort through those pains so we can actually access our light bodies in a proper frequency. All right, so the tarot card that's coming up for Wednesday is the Page of Staffs, and Seven of Swords reversed is coming up as a clarifier, which is really good. So the Page of Staffs, the energy that I'm picking up with this for tomorrow, wow, these energies really are a bit disorienting. I'm picking up insights, a lot of clarity as to what needs to be done to move forward on your path. Spirit is saying, without any more unnecessary hindrances. some of what had appeared to have been taken from you or has been taken from you is being returned. Energetic, but I think Spirit is trying to say, but some of you may actually be getting back like monies that have been owed to you, money you've lent out, that sort of thing, money that was kept from you, things that were physically taken from you can feature. There is clarity, and I do think that's definitely has a lot to do with that 7D energy that's coming through. And the Page of Staffs is this. It's an early energy of fire, but there's an enthusiasm towards it there. It's a life force, it's chi, it's being able to move forward on what it is you want to go for. And you know that we've been dealing with this for some time in this ascension process where we were wanting to move forward, take care of things, and it was just these blockages. And a lot of times for a lot of the people I've known, they were just like unfair, unnecessary, unjust blockages that were coming up, just from shadow. The ability to strategize one's way around certain things is, either coming online or returning to consciousness on Wednesday. I'm getting like a lot of people are, will be able to be forming their master plans. A lot of people are, the tendency to be polite towards people who are only trying to pull you down is probably not going to be, your method of strategizing your path. This is more of a straightforward energy where it's like, yeah, I got somewhere to go, I can't today, so, peace. Like, just, that's it. You know what I'm saying? No hemming and hawing or getting tangled up in energies that might be trying to bind you. Yeah, a lot of the energy that's coming through for Wednesday, and these are both air energies. The 7D and the 4D they're more like air focuses, even though 7D is more quantum than anything. This is more like mental clarity. Now, the quantum self-care card that came up is You Are Allowed to Cry, and that is a release card. It's about releasing toxicity, so I don't want you to feel that something's going to come up that's going to literally make you cry or be depressing, although that is possible. The energies that I'm getting a lot of proactive moving obstacles out of the way type of energy on Wednesday. And Spirit is also saying there will be spiritual aid to that end. Okay, so whether it's obvious or not, Spirit is saying it is also working on moving obstacles out of your way. So this is, just to touch on the weekly focus being your true path is bliss. This is, keep in mind that this is from what I picked up, more of an up-leveling week towards higher timelines. So having that faith that Spirit is working on your behalf and staying in the right thought frequency is the move this week, because I do feel like there can be chaotic pitfalls and frustrations that can arise, that can set you back and cause you to sit in emotions you don't need to sit in. So you definitely want to avoid that pitfall by being consciously aware of where you're mentally at and where you're emotionally at any given time this week. This week may be kind of putting things on you that press you enough where it's like, what do you really want? So if there's still some areas that were gray areas or some areas where you were missing the mark a little with your aims, this will be, Spirit saying this will be a week where you make the adjustments. And that you come to terms with whatever losses that come with it is what's coming through Spirit. And that does make a lot of sense, because some things just need to go, and there, whether it can be connections, you know what I'm saying, or the frequency of how much we engage in the certain energies from other people, because we all come with our own electromagnetic, energetic imprint. And if we're around energies that have a tendency to be stuck in the past or working energetically, in disadvantageous ways that are not healthy, that can rub off. It is kind of like, the company you keep is everything. So this is more of a, what is important to you type of week. that will have you look very seriously at what is important to you and what is it that you need to have your energy, your line of energy be clear, where you can say, boom, this is, page of staffs, this is what I am interested in pursuing. And you don't have to deal with all of these behind the scenes kind of energetic sabotage efforts throwing you off. So I do see a lot, I definitely see a lot of either determination enhancing or determination setting going on this week. And on Wednesday, I think there's more optimism towards it, is really the best way I could describe the energy that's coming up. There's more optimism towards the goals that are being worked towards, and the kind of the amount of determination Spirit is saying that you're going to need to get there. Like what you need to do is going to become clearer this week. And action is going to become more of a focus. And that does make a whole bunch of sense when you consider we will shortly be stepping into Leo season, and that is fire season, that is action season, and it's also fixed fire. So those seeds that you've been planting and you've been working on, where maybe your aims didn't always go in the direction you were hoping they would go in, can take some form of establishing themselves in a kind of a more of a fixed configuration, where light is being beamed intentionally towards what you want to be illuminating in your life. And that is a blessing that comes through with Leo season. And on the heels of eclipse season, we'll certainly have the emotional motivation, you know what I'm saying, to beam our lights, because we have really been dragged through it in this ascension process. And I mean, I've experienced personally some serious miracles, but at the end of the day, it can be a lot to deal with. Are there any stone focuses that are suggested? So today, Wednesday, working with emerald energy is advised. Work with emerald. Would it be any green stone? Emerald or clear quartz, Spirit is saying. Emerald primarily because it will help you be in a grounded position, but also receptive, where you can have that flow of positive energy, but also remain in a grounded position. And clear quartz basically just to clear your energy field, so that's going to be helping out a great deal on Wednesday. Is there anything else from Spirit advice-wise? Steer clear of people with really heavy negative energies on Wednesday. Get out, engage with nature. Explore the ways that you're connected to everything is the advice that Spirit is giving for Wednesday. This is a day to receive positive energy, even as you're clearing out the outworn energy. All right. Get used to receiving the good is the message from Spirit. Okay. All right. So we're going to move on to Thursday. Thursday's energies are 3D to 4D. So there is going to be some chakra focus activity coming up. Ooh, a lot of positive energy here, though. Yay. Okay. All right, so we have the Magician, the Eight of Staffs, and Temperance come up as clarifiers with the Magician card. So the will is going to be online according to what's coming through with the tarot. So anything that really needs to be strongly worked through, you won't be taking no for an answer, Spirit says. But do guard against getting consumed by your own fire. The Magician card is coming up upright. I think for those of you who have really struggled with patience and really struggled with making progress, this can be a day where you're going to feel such an upsurge of energy. You're going to want to make sure that you don't allow it to turn into conflict just for the sake of conflict, or conflict when fire energy is too much, when it's too strong, it can be destructive, and you can guard against that by following the clarifiers here, which are Eight of Staffs, aka Wands, and Temperance. Eight of Staffs is a directed fire focus. It's executive. It pinpoints where it's going, and it shoots its shot, and it hits its mark. All right, so with that 8 there, that is a Saturnian type of thing. And even though Saturn is in retrograde and it hasn't been as easy for us to keep, our organization and our executive self together, especially with all these metabiological changes and up-leveling that we've been dealing with, when you can follow the principles, at least, when the energy of the planet itself isn't there to kind of draw on strongly, you can still follow its principles. And it's, I would strongly advise that whenever a planet goes retrograde, to still follow its principles to the best of your ability, its positive principles. So here, you would make sure that, you have everything that you need to get done scheduled pretty well. Probably with enough flexibility to be able to deal with whatever might come up to throw things off. But keep an itinerary of what it is you need to get done, a checklist, and get through it, and work on creating a harmony between that abundance of fire energy with a straight shot focus. So really work with that Eight of Staffs energy, where you're trying to go get there, apply that fuel to that, instead of exhausting your fuel on things that just aren't going to get you anywhere you're trying to go, or are going to create problems, or are going to create arguments that have been had 1,000,001 times and don't need to be had anymore. You will have your sense of power today, but you want to be careful how you apply that power. And the Temperance card appearing is saying that there is an alchemical focus to the day. So this is a day where, if the contrast of opposites can cause friction, and you want to find whatever harmony point you can and work with that, and again focus on your goals. So this is just again tapping into the whole focus for the week, which is that your true path is bliss. So what you're working on right now should be that when you have free time, take your time to rest and all of that, but then get back on whatever it is you need to get done that night. If you're working the 9 to 5, but at night you work on your side projects that are eventually going to be your money makers and your new business that you enter into, make sure you make that time for your projects, because even if you're giving it a half an hour, those half an hour sessions add up, and you eventually have something to show for your work. When you're haphazard with your fire energy and you allow the fire to lead you to whatever you find exciting from one moment to the next, you can't predict that you're going to get anywhere of consequence. You can't regulate your fire energy or your actions very well. And it's not a wise way to utilize your fire energy and your chi during a Saturn in Capricorn transit, which is something we'll be dealing with for a while. Saturn in Capricorn is looking at the way that we deal with the blows of life, but get up and keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. What's your goal? Keep working on it. The people who are going to be able to stick to that are going to the best of their ability, because these are Ascension times, so this is not your average Saturn in Capricorn period or Saturn in Capricorn transit. But those of you that are able to stick to that and produce in this period are going to find that what you produce stands the test of time. Is a positive and high vibrational anchor point for the future, creates high vibrational, higher timeline framework. So you do want to avoid abandoning what you've been working on just because it looks like it's taking so long. It's not a surprise that it's taking so long. Saturn's in Capricorn. Nothing that takes place in this period is really meant to move fast. And things that, especially with Jupiter in retrograde, something that's going to move fast or be a flash in the pan can often be highly suspect, because it can't endure, and really could just be a distraction. So, keep going. Do your best to stay calm this week, to the best of your ability, and work on building your redirection muscles and redirect your thoughts in the best direction for your higher timelines. The Quantum Self-Care card that came up for Thursday is Accept True Love. And this is a soul family card. So this is a day where you could be connecting with soul family, where it's suggested that you do. This is a day where you realize the energies that I'm getting that are coming through the card where you realize you have a place in the universe and you are loved and you're taken care of. And sometimes you just need to listen to your guides and allow that to help you to temper any impatience you may have, because the impatience, it would be very surprising for people to not be feeling impatient at this point with all of the exhaustive clearing work that we've had to do on and off, on and off, on and off, and these recurring situations that have tried to keep popping up, that have thrown off things that are important to us and things that we want to complete. And this has been happening across the board. So when you realize this is a process that we're going through, it can help you to mentally construct ways to navigate it. Is there any further advice from Spirit? Spirit is kind of giving me, like, be careful to look twice, like, before you leap. And that does definitely go in line with what I was picking up. Anything, it's Spirit specifically said, like, anything, any contract, anything that you need to sign, a reminder that it is Mercury retrograde, I'll add in. But anything that, you're being asked to sign or enter into, you want to look at it more than once, and make sure that you're mentally clear. Spirit is saying, make sure you know what you're doing. Because some of these contracts you could be entering into could be binding for longer than you'd like. And it would be a hassle to get out of them. So that's for anyone who would be engaging in contracts. And contracts include relationship contracts. You also really take a look at anything you're getting into. This 3D to 4D focus on Thursday, the energies feel like there is internal conflict to contend with, and it can manifest as external conflict, and it has to do with that solar, all of that energy in the solar plexus wanting to do what it wants to do, and the heart space still kind of orienting itself after 2 days of dealing with, one day your heart space was dealing with 5D energy. The next day it was dealing with 7D energy on Wednesday, and on Thursday it's dealing with that 3D energy. And this is pretty much throughout the week. You know what I'm saying? Saturday it will be 7D energy again, and on Sunday it will be 1D energy again. Last week we had a lot of crown chakra work being done. We had a lot of 7D energy taking place, and it was, sequence of days, and it wasn't always the same energy. But this is how like, you're being calibrated, you're being worked on metabiologically. This, your light body is being worked on. Your ability to navigate the astral, which is still 100% a thing and isn't going away. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're up leveling to some higher density, you know what I'm saying, beyond, the basic astral that, folks tap into. All right, so yeah, I think, like, finding that balance within yourself, that alchemical balance, is going to be the way to go. And really, with what's coming through with that quantum self-care card, helps to kind of seal it in, which is, you do have a place, you do have spiritual guidance, you have soul family, and this is a good day to commune with that energy, to get your sense of direction and your bearings, to get the reassurance that you need, because you could definitely feel disoriented in these energies. All right. Is there any particular stone that is being recommended for this day, Spirit? Jade. All right. So Spirit is recommending jade for balancing and wisdom in particular. So you can work with jade to help you get into more of a balance on Thursday. And that is something that's going to help you more so get into that 4D energy, so that you're not kind of trapped in that 3D fiery energy too much, because that 3D energy needs a place to deposit the energy. It's a certain degree, a certain level of life force energy. All right, y'all. All right, moving on to, all right, now on Friday we have 3D to 4D again. I'm sorry, I misquoted a little bit when I was talking about the remainder of the week. So again, 40, it's like 40 energy all through this week except for Monday. And this is telling you heart chakra work, heart chakra work, heart chakra work, okay? We're going to see what the focus is for Friday. All right. Ace of Cups, which is heart opening. The clarifier card is Ace of Staffs. And this is literally what the 3D to 4D configuration actually is. That Ace of Staffs would more so be like 3D, and the Ace of Cups would more so be closer to a 4D. I mean, it could be a 2D orientation, but I would say 4D in this case, because we are dealing with heart opening. The energy I'm getting around this card is there could be some release work. There could actually be some situations arise that do cause some waterworks for some of y'all, do put you in your feelings. The Quantum Self-Care card that comes up is to follow synchronicities. And whenever the Follow Synchronicities card comes up, in my experience, I have noticed around myself, around others, that there's been, it's like we're moving through the astral, but not necessarily with a clear view of what's going on. And as a result, Spirit is guiding us and navigating. So this is a good day to look to Spirit. This is a good day to get out. If you're learning tarot or you work with tarot, it's a good day to get out your oracle cards. Or if you work with other oracles, get out your oracle cards and stay in touch with Spirit so you know the direction you're moving in. There are some mysterious energies around Friday. I think there are some fear energies that are going to be trying to work on folks. All right, so you're going to want to follow the promptings of Spirit and go into that direction of my true path is bliss. So if I'm on the true path, if I'm in alignment, if my thought frequency is correct right now, I should be feeling some degree of those bliss energies from that path. So I know I'm not necessarily on track like I should be if I'm in another emotional focus. Now, both of these cards that are coming up, Ace of Cups and Ace of Staffs, they're upright. Just a moment. This isn't really about a balancing between the part of you that makes decisions and the part of you that is open to making decisions with others, as opposed to being led by others. And you know, that's coming through very clearly. So watch any slick talkers. It's still Neptune in retrograde that may emerge. Watch any situations that try to make you think the worst of something, because I'm picking up like tricky shadow energies trying to kind of like plant seeds of fear. So you don't really want to give into that. Spirit is saying, like, follow the heart and it's going to guide you. And that falls right in line with that 4D focus. Like, you're learning how, the way this is looking and feeling to me, you're learning how to align your solar plexus energies, your will, your life force, your chi, what makes you go. You're learning to kind of push that upwards to align with your heart. And in order for that to happen, there is a bit of an alchemy that takes place there, because in that pure kind of like fire expression, energy tends to be more pointed and more self-directed, unless you're dealing with like significant disruptions to that chakra that have really messed with your sense of autonomy. Then it may be a bit of a longer process. But we've been doing so much ascension work, a lot of people are probably pretty close to being caught up to speed now, with healing a lot of those deep-seated issues. It's been a universal imperative that I don't know if anyone's really escaped it, the way that it's just been systemized and set up for us to travel through. So I don't know that it's an avoidable thing, in other words. But this is how your will is going to be okay with coming into that heart opening, and trusting and connecting. And for some, it's going to be easier than others. There are a lot of old resentments, and I'm that's been coming up a lot energetically as I've been doing this reading. A lot of old resentments and get backs that people want to have. But so yeah, Spirit is saying a lot of these things, it's better to let them go. And I know sometimes that can sound to some, or to people who are going through something at any particular moment, it can sound disempowering and it can sound like the weak way to go, but it's not. When we engage in discordant vibrations and discordant thought frequencies, it throws us off. It throws us off of our higher timeline track, and the whole, even as we're going through this eclipse, these partial lunar eclipse energies, and this is, that emotional eclipse because it's lunar. Even though we're going through those partial eclipse energies, and it is moving into a waning moon phase, the whole point here is, as you move forward, what choices you make, what alliances do you enter into, what steps do you take, all of that is supposed to be following, leading up to your higher timeline. So you want to remember, you want to purposefully remember that you were working towards something. These old energies from the past that have successfully dragged you down and thrown you off track in the past don't have the same level of power to do so anymore. So this is now a matter of, how do I draw my own self-power, my own will, to push myself. I don't know if I could find a better word to use than push, but to really see that I'm moving forward, and without needing to be triggered in a negative way to do so. Some people have gotten a lot of things done, but it was through negative triggers, where they just got tired of it and they rose up out of it and they went and they did what they had to do. But without those negative triggers influencing you, how do you get yourself to get up and go, and what do you move towards? Do you move towards those things that just seem like that's what's there for you, even if it's negative? Like, that's obviously what you were put here for. Is it that the type of mind frame that you have, where you will walk into old disempowering patterns thinking that there isn't anything better out there for you? Or are you going to be more of the, obviously I'm here to heal my heart and wake up my heart and walk those paths that light me up and that put me in the right thought frequency, a thought frequency that makes me feel a sense of bliss in my relationship connections, in my work, in, you know what I'm saying, my health, in what I engage in, and the choices that I make. So this rewiring process, yes, very disorienting, but at the end of the day, this week is focusing a lot on the 4D energy. A little bit of the throat chakra has been touched on for Tuesday. The crown chakra has been touched on Wednesday, and Saturday we'll be dealing a little bit more with the crown chakra, because obviously that's going to get a lot of usage as we continue to rise in vibration. We're going to be dealing more with the upper chakras and the realities that come with that. All right, so all of this is just a process to get us where we need to go, and it does feel like a cleanup week, and it feels like a cleanup week that can have some people feeling triggered. Get in touch with spirit, get in touch with your higher timelines, take a proactive stance of self-mastery to direct your actions so that you don't fall by the wayside into old emotions that we're entering into a waning moon cycle now that need to be cleared out. That's it. Peacefully released. It's gone, it's done, let it go. Because once you let that go, the good can come in, and it can help to seed a new pathways and new options in that space that was being taken up by all this old outworn stuff that really isn't doing anything to push you forward, and possibly has been doing just about everything to bring you down. All right, y'all. All right, so that's for Friday. Saturday, we have 7D to 4D energies, and the quantum self-care card focus is be honest with yourself. Oh, I'm sorry. And one real quick thing I'll just add in. Any red stone, so I guess like carnelian can fall into that, garnet, ruby. That can be helpful for you on Friday to give you the strength to trust your convictions is what's coming through spirit. So that's a good stone that you can work with this week to help get some of that extra help from the mineral, from our spirit brethren in the mineral kingdom. All right, y'all. Saturday, okay, so 7D to 4D, we have the, and thank you, Spirit, we have the be honest with yourself as a self-care card. And the energies I'm getting around that is it does have to do with letting go of certain things. I think this is what's going to be coming up for most, although this is a general reading. The energy's pretty strong, where it's like there might be some things that come up on this day where it's like, you're going to have to let that go, right? And you may not want to. So this is good. The process of being honest with yourself. How is holding on to the thing affecting me? What happens every time I'm subjected to this thing? Does it throw me off? Does it drag me down deeper into the pits, and then it's that much harder to swim back up to the right, thought frequencies and feeling frequencies that lead to higher timelines? how is this energy impacting me? The 70 to 40 energy, what I'm picking up with it. Okay. Interesting. All right, so there's some Neptune retrograde stuff going on Saturday, y'all, so be aware. Some of those old tricky energies can return. Some of you might be dealing with some, oh, I know I treated you horribly, but I've seen the light and I can't live without you. Con artist attempts at winning your heart back. Because the Seven of Swords here is the reason that I say con artist attempts, because it is someone trying to take something from you. Hopefully it's not y'all trying to be sneaky, or any of y'all trying to be sneaky. If it is, take a step back, be honest with yourself, and ask yourself, is that worth it? Is it worth it to go a route where you are not being honest about your intentions? Odds are it's going in the direction of the way the energies feel to me, and the energies here feel like, honestly, like someone is trying to get something for nothing. For some of you, the Nine of Cups comes up as an accent. This can be surrounding recreational partners. It can be surrounding something that looks too good to be true. It could be surrounding getting a wish fulfilled, but having to go about getting it in a way that is not above board. And then the moon is here. Okay, so this is like in shadow. This is the two clarifiers are the Nine of Cups and the moon. So if you have to go into energies that you know aren't right for the promise of something that looks like a wish being fulfilled, be honest with yourself. The quantum self-care card, I would say heed that fully and really, really listen to your inner voice. The 70 to 40 energies of that day can make things a little swimmy, and it can also make people a little more open and higher vibrational in general, just that higher vibrational universal kind of attitude for the day, friendly and outgoing, and it can create conditions that would allow, someone who isn't being honest to kind of play on the innocence that might rise to the surface of you, because you'll be dealing with quantum heart energies with that 7D to 4D, and really feeling a sense of connection with the universe. But the challenge with that sometimes is when you have those shadowy forces and people who deal in shadowy forces, thinking they might catch you unawares. You want to be careful how you react to that, and you want to be careful if anyone's coming towards you with anything that feels like a trap. Heed what it feels like. Pay attention to what you're feeling. All of your intuitions should be very strong at this point, and it's just a matter of learning how to work with your own intuitions and how your intuition talks to you. For some, it's not speaking with spirits. For some, you see pictures all of the time, and it's time for you to start working on what those symbols mean to you and how you can create more of a or actually dust off that bridge to your higher self, so that you can have conversations back and forth with your higher self. Some of you may be just extremely strong empaths, where it's like, look, y'all, pay attention. If you're picking up vibes about people, places, or things, they're real, especially when you know that when you have ignored those promptings and intuitions in the past, you've landed yourself in bad situations, possibly for very long stretches of time. So strong advisory energies against walking into anything that does not feel right, because it seems like it might grant you what you've been hoping for or wishing for. Also, advisement against any sneaky attempts to try to gather something, because with the Pluto in retrograde focuses, this is a time where you do sneaky, you're going to get caught. The time to do sneaky things and not get caught was kind of more so at the beginning of the transit. Not that I would advise anyone to do that. You definitely don't want to play around with it right now. Trust and believe. All right. It will come back. All right. So moving on to, is there any advice from Spirit? Get extra sleep on Friday. This is for Saturday, but get extra sleep The Friday night. Get out, get in nature. Direct yourself on Saturday. Rather than be directed by others. Okay. This is a good day to get in touch with your heart. Okay. And kind of your purpose for being. You'll be exploring that. Okay. And yeah, and Spirit's saying you'll smell like con artists a mile away, so don't indulge them. So yeah, there could just be an upsurge in that activity. It doesn't mean it's necessarily going to strike you that way. But if you do have a con artist that likes to try to creep up from time to time, there are good odds that it may try to emerge this weekend. All right, moving on to Sunday. Sunday is 1D. Thank you, Spirits. 1D to 4D energy. The Quantum Self-Care card is I Am Worthy. All right, so there is, these days can be sensitive types of days whenever the I Am Worthy card comes up, where you have to kind of remind yourself that you're here for a reason, you're worthy of love, you're worthy of all of the good things, and work through releasing any situations that come up to help you release old blueprints that tell you otherwise, especially for them to be 1D. Very, very early childhood experiences can come to play here. Old incarnational experiences, generational experiences that may not have been from your incarnations but could have been from some of your ancestors can come up on this day. There could be some of the release work that takes place could be a little bit emotionally painful, just as an advanced kind of warning. Spirit is counseling it, like working with sea salt baths. I mean, that's that ocean energy, really, if you can't get to the ocean. Can help. These things can be coming up from a physical place. That 1D is a very physical energy, and it could come out as physical pains, that sort of thing. You have the Three of Cups here and the King of Cups reversed as an accent. There is, so I'm getting like right off the bat that there is an impetus to escape the any heavy downcast energies that may come with the day. This can be used in a healthy way, because it is 1D to 4D, and you are supposed to be healing that very, very old or very early formative part of you, and bringing it into heart alignment, bringing it into that 4D. But you're going to want to be sure that you're doing it in a way where you're accepting yourself and you are celebrating self-acceptance and worthiness. You're bringing your worthiness to the table. That Three of Cups is there and the King of Cups is there. Reverse, telling you to stay out of the negative emotions and get into the higher emotions. As we see with the Three of Cups card that is coming up. I do have to cut this short, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Peace and blessings on your ascension journey, and we will see you next week.